It didn't go live. I had to press it about 5 times. We just went live. Correct, it went live about a minute ago. I don't know. I was reading the comments because I hit live broadcast and it said you're live and then it didn't do anything, so I hit it again and then again, and so it eventually took.
Wow, here we are. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Calgary's first streaming on StreamYard. And as you can see, there's a little bit of technical trouble getting everybody online, but we're so excited to be using this new medium because it's going to allow us to be able to see each other, hear each other, read the lyrics. It really is special. So we're delighted that this is happening, and a very big thank you to Neil and Tina Thrussell, who are basically set up like a little TV station. You should see it. They're like 4 screens and they're flipping back and forth. So it's really quite extraordinary and quite special, and we're feeling deeply supported and loved by them. So we're all here together. How great is that? Let us take a moment now to connect in. let's start with prayer. And here at Unity, we use an affirmative prayer. So I invite you to just close your eyes, settle into your seat wherever you are. And taking a couple of deep breaths in and slowly out. Imagining your feet sinking into the floor, and as this happens, bringing your awareness to your heart and feeling the rhythmical support of spirit, knowing that we are always held in love, always guided. That if we just take a moment in our days to tune in, we can feel the support. It allows us to rest, to not struggle so hard. So today, let's deepen our commitment to trusting Spirit to guide our lives. We can know this to be so, and so it is. Great. And now, let's affirm together why we think it's important to meet, why we come together. So let's affirm our statement of being. We are here as love to celebrate the one power, the one presence in our lives, in this community, and in the universe. And one of the great ways that we can keep ourselves centered in these changing times is the daily word. And I know a lot of you have taken this up as a practice, and we're using that more and more all the time, I know, in my own home, to be able to stay centered and focus myself for the day. And the daily word is world peace. I contribute to peace in the world. When I learn of conflict in my community or in the world, my response may be frustration, sadness, or anger. If I have those feelings, I remember that I am more than merely a human. I am a living expression of God, heir to all that God is. I use my divine faculties of wisdom, understanding, and love to create the abiding peace that is my birthright. Centered in divine peace, I realize that every person is as much an expression of God as I am. As differences dissolve in the way that transcends human understanding, I come to know the oneness of the world's people. I let this realization shape my response to every person and every situation. In my awareness of my oneness of all people, my thoughts, words, and actions contribute to the peace in the world. And from John 17:22, the glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one. And if you're joining us for the first time, you might be kind of wondering, wow, I wonder what this group of people in this podcast is all about. Well, our vision is that if people really related to each other as spiritual beings, how different would our world be? How would we treat each other? Just like the daily word was saying, when we remember our spiritual essence, it allows us to treat each other from that place, and we become part of the peace. So let's affirm together our worldwide vision. We envision a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And how we do that at Unity of Calgary is we've created our own mission. And this mission guides us. We are a welcoming, vibrant, spiritual community that inspires hearts and transforms lives by expressing our divine essence. And we may have to up our game on this a little bit now that we're virtual. So I encourage you to maybe share with a neighbor or a friend that these live streaming events are happening. Suggest to them that they tune in on a Sunday morning and just get a feel for us. See if it resonates with them, because perhaps it's what they've been looking for. So we need to continue being that welcoming presence, even when we're online. And to support us, to keep things going, we have a few different community programs happening, and encourage you to use those. And we'll be connecting with one another with Zoom. And if you're not sure how to use Zoom, Ariana, our wonderful communications person, is willing to give you a private lesson on how to work with Zoom. So if that's something you would like to do, you could contact her through office@unityofcalgary.org, and she can help you get on so you can enjoy some of these upcoming things. One of the things that is really exciting that's happening on Zoom will be our coffee chat. But first of all, I want to tell you about our speaker next week. Our speaker next week is Juliet Haynes, and she is going to be talking about honoring the feminine on Mother's Day, the ultimate feminine on Mother's Day. For mother's love is one of the closest love to spiritual love, and she's going to be sharing and expounding on that. So we're excited to have her joining us. And today, after our speaker, we're going to start on Zoom coffee chat. So at about 11, I guess it would be 11:45, you'll go on to the Zoom chat, which you saw in your newsletter. And we may be able to put it up on here as well. And you can come in on Zoom and see everybody on the community. How fun will that be? So we really hope that you will come and join us there so that you can see everyone and just share a little bit what's going on in your world. We also have ongoing community support through our prayer team. This Wednesday, May 6th, the prayer team is going to be doing the part where you get to actually speak to each other, and it's called Community Spirit Sharing. So it'll start at 7 p.m. on Wednesday on Zoom, and you'll get the link on your newsletter. And you'll come in, and each person will be able to share a little bit what's going on in their life and the kind of prayer support that they want to receive and offer each other. So we're really happy that this is going to be taking place. And it's really an opportunity for you to share your heart. And let me see. Oh, and one of the other exciting things is we're going to be doing our AGM. Initially, we thought that we were going to have to postpone the AGM, but we found out that other communities across Canada have been doing their AGM on Zoom. So we are just putting together the technology to do that as well. And next week in the newsletter, so it's very important right now you stay connected to the newsletter. If you aren't on our newsletter, you need to go to unityofcalgary.org and get on there. But next week, we will have information for you about the AGM, as well as the new candidates that will be joining the board. So kind of exciting time for that to be happening. So enough chitter chatter. We're going to get to have some of Anthony's music. So please enjoy The Great Awakening before we have this morning's speaker.
Somewhere within, you've always known who you are. So don't let the world guide your life. Follow the voice deep inside your heart. Though the universe asks for your hand in this dance, you can still choose to go your own way. You can choose to let go to the dance of your soul. You may find that you're more than you thought you As you awake, your purpose will flow from your soul. The life that you lead will serve to inspire us all. Don't let your doubt dim your light. Bring forth the greatness that hides inside. Though the universe asks for your hand in this dance, you can still choose to go your own way. You can choose to let go to the dance of your soul. You may find that you're more than you thought you were. Oh, you are a part of the whole. The world needs you more than you know. You're a darkness you fall on the earth, and it's you who'll be the light of the world. 'Cause when you shine, the world shines. You are a part of a great, great And though the universe asks for your hand in this dance, you can still choose to go your own way. You can choose to let go to the dance of your soul. You may find that you're more than you thought you were. 'Cause when you shine, the world shines. You are a part of a great awakening.
I love that song. It's really grounds me and centers me and makes me feel like our lives have purpose. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. So this morning, we get to have Reverend Doug Craig with us. As many of you know, he is a regular speaker with our family, and we're just delighted with the perspective that he brings. And this morning, he's going to be talking about curiosity, as that is our theme for the month. And the talk in particular is called, I Wonder Who Wrote the Book of Love. As Reverend Doug Craig has been in the New Thought movement for over 40 years, he has a wealth of information and an abundance of stories. So please welcome Reverend Doug Craig, and he's going to begin with a meditation, and then he'll be taking us into his talk. Good morning, Reverend Doug.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing out there in virtual land really well, just like I am and Anna are doing here in my wonderful office. Looking forward to sharing with you today in this new medium, this very interesting message about how to use this natural innate part of us called curiosity. So to set the tone, let's just get ourselves comfortable. And I do believe we got some lead-in music.
I surrender. I trust and I know that as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I trust and I know that as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I trust and I know that as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I fall into the arms of love. I fall into the arms of love.
And just let go and slowly go within to that secret place of the Most High. And in the calm and in the peace, in stillness and silence, know that all is God and all is good. And we know that this one eternal life that we are all of expresses through each and every one of us uniquely in our own way. And to know that the curiosity and creative nature of the human experience during these troubled times have come together to be able to continue to share our spiritual community and this spiritual message in a unique and special way. So let's just take a few moments in quiet meditation to reflect upon all the goodness that you have received that you didn't think about before because of your experience of this lockdown we're having. And as we focus on what has happened to us in this experience, we see many, many good things that have come out of it. Many new realizations, many opportunities to see ourselves in a different way. And we've also had the opportunity to see those that just don't get it and bless them and forgive them, for they know not what they do. It is our job to be a beacon of light, a beacon of hope, not only for ourselves, but for the people around us, because we are the way showers, because we know the truth, and the truth sets us free. So let us know within ourselves that out of our shared experience virtually and in reality, we receive something very special out of this shared message together. So eagerly, we step forward with an open and receptive mind, knowing with loving thanks that God is good, God is great, so are we, And so it is. Well, so when I first got the mail from Katie, she talked about the theme this month, curiosity. Well, the first thing that popped into my mind, oddly enough, was an old song. And it was an old song, I wonder, 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 who wrote the book of love? And that was what popped in there, because in that song, he talks about his experience of finding out about love, as we all do as we go along, and know that there is no definition. It only is an isness that we experience as we unburden ourselves with a lot of the things that we seem to carry in the form of negativity, resentment, worry, and doubt. All of those block the creative flow. So the very word of I wonder creates the natural curiosity instinct within the human experience. We must understand that the nature of spirit is never dormant. Spirit is always growing and always expanding. A growth and expansion is the very nature of the universe. So when you wonder, that poses a question. And if we focus in on that, we step ourselves into that stream of consciousness called curiosity, and the spirit will give us our answer. That, in my opinion, is one of the most sadly misunderstood and not used quality of the mind. We have the directive, the contemplative. This is the receptive quality of the mind, where we learn to ask questions to seek spiritual guidance from within ourselves and through our experience. Jesus said it really clearly in Matthew chapter 7, verses 7 and 8. He said, ask and it shall be given to you. He didn't say he didn't say it'll be given to you. He said you got to ask. Then you got to seek and ye shall find. So your natural curiosity has to be looking for the answer, looking for the guidance, looking for the direction, and then knock and the door will be open unto you. It means that we got to take action. Nothing works for us unless we take action. That's where really, when the rubber hits the pavement, that's when things really get going. So that's the threefold nature for success. And he goes on to say, for everyone that asks, he receives. Everyone that seeks, he finds. And everyone knocks, it'll be open unto you. I just recently wrapped up my tenure as a 31-year prof at SAIT under two different terms in between my ministry in Red Deer. And it was a very unique ending because we were on shutdown, and the entire last X number of weeks all had to be delivered online, and all the evaluations, the quizzes, the finals have to be redone into a different way. So I put back and I just go, because I understand that if I want to get an answer, I have to operate on the basis of what Dr. Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind, that there are no obstructions to the operation of truth. None. No obstructions. Thus, what that means, my job is to ask the question and to be willing to actively make sure that the channel is clear and free of obstructions such as fear, worry, doubt, and any negativity, because that clings and that distorts the focus, and it draws to one things that aren't as good as things could be. So by doing that, I was able to redesign and redevelop the last part of the course in a project form, got it all in, got it all done. Everyone out of my 93 students, except for one, passed the course. And I am now officially retired from that to continue on with my spiritual work. But you got to ask, and that's wondering. So I wonder. But on the other hand, there's the other thing that you got to be careful about. My second point. Curiosity killed the cat. So curiosity without discernment can create all kinds of havoc in your life. One of the things that's really good to study and learn is the natural physical laws and the spiritual laws. For example, gravity. Nobody's walked off a building lately to see if gravity's still working, have you? Because we just know there's a law there. Okay? And there are spiritual laws of sowing and reaping. What we focus on, our mind expands upon. And if we put energy into it, it'll bring it to us, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. I always talk to people and say, if you don't look like what you're getting, look at what you're giving, because of circulation and flow. And part of that in everyday life, no matter what it is that we do, is trying to keep that channel clear and to seek guidance from within and allow the natural curiosity of the spirit to take us into a whole lot of marvelous places. Well, I remember my natural curiosity without discernment. Oh, don't you love those stories? And it's true. I was about 10 years old. And I wondered what would happen if I took the bulb out of this small lamp my mother had and just stuck my tongue in the end of it to see what would happen. Now, you and I both know today that isn't a really good thing to do, because we understand the law of electricity and some of the things that can happen because of misuse of the law. Well, guess what? I'm 10. I know everything. So I went and stuck my tongue in the end of that socket. Well, now I got to tell you, I didn't get all the way down to the middle before dark. And about 10 or 15 minutes later, when I got up off the floor, and a couple hours later, when I started to get my mind back, I decided all on my own not to do that again. My curiosity was satisfied. And you know, that's a very important thing about discernment. And it's taught in the Bible with the disciples, each one we teach being a characteristic or trait. So first one calls Peter is faith. Then the next two, which were the either side of Jesus, were the two sons of Zebedee, James and John. And John represents love, or the heart. James represents head, and that's judgment, and there's discernment and discrimination. And that doesn't mean the negative part. That means looking at a situation and judging things and discerning things and making some discriminating choices and things like that. So it's a positive thing. And you'll know whenever Jesus went and had the stuff hit the fan and had to retreat and get his stuff together, he always took James and John and Peter with him, his faith, his head, and his heart. And that's what we got to do, because curiosity, your mind is going to go to work on whatever you feed it and whatever you keep letting it do and focus in on. Okay, so we have to use discernment, because we can get into a lot of places that we don't want to go. And that's one of the most important things, that we live in a world governed by law, but curiosity must be tempered with discernment as we move forward. It's the greatest gift we got, and the greatest aspect of joy that we can get if we use it properly. So moving on now to the next idea I want to share here with you is connecting curiosity and the law of attraction. So what you believe, what you are, what you think about, what you activate inside of yourself to move forward, then has to, by the law, draw to yourself circumstances, situations, events, and people that reflect that consciousness that you've developed. And that's how the law of attraction works. The law of attraction is absolutely perfect. Before I made my change for the first 17 years of my life, it was tempered with, crime, violence, and gang activities, addictions, abuse, all of that kind of stuff. And I got to tell you, I was right into all of that stuff, and I attracted all kinds of experiences that were less than desirable. And I wondered, why? Why me? Well, that's what I was focused on. That's what I was living. That's what I believed. So why should I be surprised at what I get. And then also that's what I deliver. Okay. So one of the first things when I come in here to this philosophy was learning about the law of attraction and sowing and reaping and how it works. And so I then become to be aware of that. My curiosity was the most valuable tool that I had. However, it had to be directed and tempered with wisdom to find creative solutions to be able to navigate myself out of my former lifestyle into the life I have today, and to navigate through all of the different challenges and experiences that I've had on my journey. Okay, so it's a natural way to work. You can't help but be curious. That's just who and what you are as an individual. Your curiosity could be catastrophic, or it could be unbelievable. So I could say to you, okay, just sit back and you might want to do this, and just to get yourself into a vision. And I want you to imagine yourself taking a nice stroll down a beautiful sidewalk, treed, beautiful spring or summer day. Oh, it's just gorgeous. And then all of a sudden you see down the way a big Doberman pincer. And he's looking at you, and his teeth is bared and frothing at the mouth, growling, and hopefully you looked around and there was nobody else and you know it was you. And you froze solid. You could see that dog just leaping for you, putting your hand up to protect yourself. You could see him chewing on your arm. Next thing you know, you're on the ambulance onto the way to the hospital, and the doctors then come over you and look over you to fix you up and pronounce you rabid. And you could just go now and see yourself dying and going to the funeral. And then, bring yourself back. Now we were all there, weren't we? And just, you opened up your eyes and just noticed that the dog was chained to a tree. Okay? But you could see how powerful the curiosity is when we started talking about that, and where your mind took you and what you are able to see in your own mind. And you know as well as I do, sometimes you get on trains of thought, you go, thank God nobody else knows what I'm thinking, and thank God I'm not going to entertain this and put any more energy into it so it doesn't happen. Okay? So the real bottom line there is to remember that, again, what Ernest Holmes said, there are no obstructions to the operation of truth. But remember the words out of the Old Testament of our good old buddy Job. Job, he had all the daughters, he had the wealth, he had the wisdom, he had the respect. He was a God-fearing man, everything. But the one thing that Job had was he was afraid. He was afraid he was going to lose this. He was afraid he was going to lose that. He was afraid of this. And fear occupied his mind. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. And the most famous quote from the Old Testament I really love, and you need to mark this down, Job chapter 3, verse 25. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come to me. Yeah, it works that way. Because it's just like the gravity or the electricity. The electricity's working today. Look at the virtual stuff and the technology we got. But nobody's out there rushing over to stick their tongue in a socket to see if I was right. Are you? Well, I hope not, please. Okay. So that's part and parcel of it. But it also works the other way. So when I left my formative years, my partner at the time had two daughters. I had one. And one of the things we wanted to have was to have two boys the same age as our girls, with fair hair and blue eyes. And of course, with my former career, which still was checkered with a record, I was a very poor candidate for adoption. Wouldn't you say? But I had done the work. I had been into this for 3 years, and I'd done a lot of work, and I changed my life, and I was moving forward. I had a long way to go, as we all do. Forever is how it is. And when I started telling people we were going to do this, we took foster parenting courses any way we could. People say, "Oh, don't get your hopes up because we don't want to see you get hurt." And, everybody said, "No, Doug, because of your background, there's no way this is going to happen for you." And the ones that really cared for me were the ones that say, "Well, we don't want you to get your hopes up." But we focused on that. We believed in that. And we did everything that we knew that we needed to do, plus the things that we come to us as we were guided along the way. And then one day we watched this TV show, news on a TV station that we never watched. We always watched the other one because I knew the broadcaster. And on that show that night, they had this program that they had every week called Wednesday's Child, where special need kids were put up for adoption. And on that show that night were two boys the same age as our girls with fair hair, blue eyes, and one of them had missed his entire first year of school because of cancer. They were 7 and 6. So that would have been two 7-year-olds, two 6-year-olds, and an 8-year-old. So we put in the application, and we were really pumped, and everybody poo-pooed it. That's why if you're doing something nobody could believe in except for you, don't tell them, because you don't need the assistance of the negative energy. And it wasn't where they were being negative to me, where they were just trying to protect us from being hurt. Okay? But anyhow, we got pumped when we got selected for the first round of interviews. And then we told everybody, "Well, just lucky. Well, we got pumped when we got selected for the second round." Went through that. Then we got really pumped when we were awarded custody of the two boys. And so that was just one of those stories that nobody believed in, but the curiosity and the will to follow it through and to keep the channel clear of the obstructions. Oh, was it easy as saying that? No, it wasn't. You have to work at it, folks. It's something that you have to work at. And in order to do this, we have to remember in our life that we are always part of the problem. We're always part of the solution, and it's our choice. St. Paul in Romans chapters 12:2, he told us how to do it. He said, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what is good and acceptable and the perfect will of God." So you see, folks, it's a natural part of us. And the wonder is there's no limitations onto the joy and the goodness that we could bring into our life, as long as we're willing to give up focusing in on fear, doubt, negativity, and to let that go into the false nothingness from when it comes, because that's not the truth of our being. We need to just focus in on what we can do, what we can have, and what we are, and move forward with it. So, as I know for myself that divine right action takes place in my life, and that there's a gradual, orderly, sequential unfoldment into form of the highest and best that I am, I know that to be so for me. I know that to be so for you. And I give thanks that it's so for all of us. And go forward. God bless. Keep an open and curious mind. Keep a clear, free-flowing channel. And know that God is good. God is great. So are we. And so it is. And thank you and have a great day.
Oh, your love is bigger than the open hand of the sky. Oh, yes, your love is bigger than
wonderful that we still have the live music of the band. It sounds so good. So thank you, Anthony, and the band. I hope you're listening in here, maybe relaxing in your house coats and enjoying a little leisure time. And Reverend Doug, as always, he comes with an inspiring story. All the time I've known you, I never knew you and adopted 2 boys. And it's a great story. It's a great story about that balance between having your own curiosity and your own clarity and not listening too much to the voices on the outside if it's not in alignment with where you want to be. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. And yeah, it's a good reminder to stay focused. And that's what we want to be doing here too, is staying focused on what's important to us as we move forward. I realized at the beginning when we were having some technical issues, I didn't get a chance to thank everyone who helped us actually move out of Unity of Calgary at St. Matt's. It was a big day and it was a little bit sad, but it was amazing to watch everybody just kind of take action and pack up our precious things. And now they're all snugly safe in Paul's garage and out in Anthony's studio for the instruments. So abundant blessings. See, we were just curious about how it would happen, and it all happened. It was awesome. So now let's take a moment to kind of express our gratitude in another way, as we enter into this time of conscious giving. Together, using our time and our talent, our treasure, we've been creating this wonderful spiritual community. And it's been sustaining us and moving us forward in our lives. And though we're not meeting physically, the community decided that we really did want to stay connected with each other during this time. And so hence we are using this new technology called StreamYard. So when you think about that and the value that it brings, we believe that it is worth everything that we're doing in the physical to make it happen, as well as the financial contributions that we're all sharing. So please know that, who you are and what you're giving is making a difference. And the way that you can do that is you can go and send us an email transfer at donate@unityofcalgary.org. You can go to our website and press the donate button, or you can send in a check if that's something that you prefer to do. So any of those ways, it will reach us. So let's do what we've been doing all along, which is making sure that we bless what we do, that we stay connected to it. So let's do our abundance affirmation. So putting your hand to your heart or whatever feels comfortable, let's affirm together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So let's enjoy now the music and our most familiar offering song, Give with an Open Heart.
I am grateful for my life.
Thank you, Anthony and the band. I have to say that, even though they're not here to hear it, perhaps they're online and did hear that. And please know that, who you are and what you do does make a difference. And we're very grateful for what you shared with us. So let's take a moment to kind of look to see what might be happening in each other's lives that we might need to bring to prayer. This is our time that we usually have our prayer box. And of course, we don't have that in the same form. But what I'd like to invite you to do is to bring your awareness to anything that you would like to surrender into prayer. Because we know that as we turn our concerns over to Spirit, it opens the way to abundant blessings to unfold. Just like Reverend Doug Craig talked to us about. So let's take a moment, just close your eyes for a moment and bring to mind something that you would like to surrender into Spirit. Perhaps someone's ill health that you've been worrying about, or financial concerns, or just overwhelm, disappointment, loneliness, sadness, whatever it is. Imagine now in this moment that you could just surrender the energy of that. Just surrendering it to Spirit, into the love and the light that created us. That's it. Just letting it go, letting it be. And if you have other concerns, you can also submit your prayer request on our website at unityofcalgary.org. And when you send your request there, know that our prayer team and Silent Unity will hold it in prayer for 30 days. And you can also access 24-hour prayer support by going directly to Silent Unity. And you can see the number there, and the numbers are also listed on our website. What we really want you to know is that you're not alone. None of us are. And we can reach out and connect with each other in all these different ways. We'd also like to send our love and support to a couple of unities across Canada. Each month we select 2 unities that we hold in prayer, guiding them, supporting them in their mission. And this month it is Unity of White Rock and Unity of New Westminster. So let's hold all of this in mind as we repeat and affirm together our prayer of protection. So together, let us affirm, the light that is God surrounds me. I am one with the light. The love that is God enfolds me. I am one with the love. The power that is God protects me. I am one with the power. The presence that is God watches over me. I am one with the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Isn't it great that we now have the lyrics and the words all up on the screen? That is something to be grateful for, is it not? That is StreamYard and the talents of Neil and Tina Thrussell. So thank you so much for putting that together for us. All right. Well, let's bring our energy together. And I invite you to kind of bring your own energy up. Maybe you want to stand up and move around and dance a little if that's the kind of person you are, as we sing Return to Love.
Never
right. Yes. And when the technology doesn't go exactly how it's supposed to, we just return ourselves to love. That's all we need to do. And know that as the weeks progress, we'll get smoother at this. You'll be amazed and impressed. So thank you all for joining. Thank you for being here. I hope you're going to tune in to Zoom chat so that we can see your face and hear how you're doing. And as usual, let's open our hearts and our minds and radiate out to the world as we sing, "Let there be peace on earth." Be well, everyone.
1, 2, 3.